Welcome to TV2 Sports Talk on a beautiful sunny July day. It seems odd that we might talk about the old pigskin. As you can see, if you're at all familiar with Tuscarawas County high school sports, we're at Crater Stadium in Dover, the site for this year's Times Reporter High School All-Star Football game to benefit the Rainbow Connection. The game coming up Friday night, July 24th. You'll be able to watch it right here. The first replay set for 10:30 that evening with Scott Robinson. Coming up as this week's show continues, we'll talk with Roger Metzger, sports editor from the TR, and Times Reporter sports writer Jim Haynes about both the East and the West squads, how this All-Star game got started back in the day, and everything that surrounds it, all a part of the Times Reporter All-Star Football Classic. It's all when TV2 Sports Talk continues from Crater Stadium in Dover here on DMG Channel 2. This episode of Sports Talk is brought to you by J. Dempson and Son Concrete. After this rough winter, you may need to repair or replace your patio, sidewalk, steps, or driveway. If you're considering any of these projects, give J. Dempson and Son Concrete a call at 330-795-0169 for a free estimate. Keep your home looking its best with J. Dempson and Son, with over 55 years of combined experience making satisfied customers.
Well, I woke up to the sound of silence and cars. We're cutting like knives in a fist fight. And I found you with a tear in your eye, your head in the curtains and heart like the 4th of July.
You swore and said we are not shining stars. This I know. I never said we are. If you're lost and alone, or you're sinking like a stone, carry on. May your past be the sound of your feet upon the ground. Carry on. Carry on, carry on. We are shining stars. Carry on, carry on. We are who we are.
WJER and TV2 would like to introduce you to a new website, WJERTV2.com, where you can watch exciting high school football, soccer, and volleyball replays from TV2 Sports on your home computer, smartphone, or tablet. Also watch the latest episodes of TV2's original programming, Sports Talk, The Garden Girl, The Not So Shy Chef, Off the Record, and Medical Minutes, as well as catch up on local community news and search for local businesses. So make sure to check out the new WJERTV2.com community website where everything's local.
TV2 Sports Talk continuing on DMG Channel 2 from Time Warner Cable. Yes, it's the middle of summer, and yes, we're talking football as we begin to get ready for the annual Times Reporter Charities All-Star Football Game to once again benefit the Rainbow Connection. Happy to be joined by the sports editor at the TR, Roger Metzger. And as folks see us here at Crater Stadium in front of the Iron Gates, Raj, they say, boy, it's been a while since this game's been played here in Dover. How has that unfolded that you guys are in Dover town this year?
Well, normally, like you said, we're over at Quaker Stadium. We've done that facility for a number of years. We've been to other places. We've down to Uricksville. We've been to Carrollton, but this year we're at Crater Stadium because New Philadelphia is getting new lights over at Quaker Stadium, and they're not sure if they'll be done by the time our game is going to be played. So we made an agreement with Dover, well, probably last year at this time, saying, hey, can we use your facility again? It's a beautiful facility. You know, it's artificial turf, and a lot of people maybe not have seen the new stadium and the upgrades they've made. So we're happy to be here, and I know Dover's happy to have us here. So we're looking forward to it.
The game coming up Friday night, July 24th. You'll be able to hear it on 1450 WJER and watch it here on TV2 with Scott Robinson's play-by-play call. And, of course, read all about it in the Times Reporter and online at timesreporter.com. Roger, let's break down the coaches for this year. Daniff doing something he hasn't done in his talented coaching career. He's won a ton of football games on the field over the shoulders behind us, but he hasn't coached in this game before. And you guys have got Coach to do what he can do for the West team this year.
That's pretty cool because, you know, like I say, we're having this tie-in with our game here at Dover. And we're happy to have Dan on board. Dan said last year, he said, I've never done this game before. I'd like to do it one time. And he's graciously decided he'd like to do it with us. And of course, he's got a lot of good players on his team that did well in his tenure there this last year. Corey Cantini and the list goes on and on and on. So it's going to be a natural playing on their home turf with Dan Ift in charge, and like I said, playing at Crater Stadium. So we're looking forward to it, and I'm sure those kids will be looking forward to playing their last game here at Crater Stadium.
Roger Metzger, our guest, the sports editor from the Times Reporter. On this edition of TV2 Sports Talk, Roger and Jim Haynes from the TR Sports staff breaking down the annual clash between the East and the West as a part of the Times Reporter Charities Football All-Star Classic. Now, interestingly enough, Mr. Metzger, on the opposite sideline is a young man who played for Coach Ift, and he's enjoyed a stellar start to his head coaching career over at Sandy Valley.
And keeping with that Dover feeling, we got the game here. We got Dan Ift on the west side and Zach Gardner, who's coach at Sandy Valley. He's a graduate of Dover High School, played under Coach Ift. He's going to be coaching the East squad, so it's going to be kind of interesting. The master versus the pupil. You know, we haven't had. I'm not sure if we've ever had one of those kind of games, but we're really looking forward to having Zach and his bunch, play in our game. They've got a good team on there. They've got kids from Indian Valley like Jake Davis. Kids from Central have Cade Cummings. They've had a great seasons in the past few years. So we're really looking forward to having them on board, and we're really looking forward to having a very good game.
It is all coming up Friday night, July 24th. Kickoff time set for 7 o'clock. And as we mentioned, this game benefiting the Rainbow Connection. And Roger, you and Jim, Hank Keathley before you when he was still officially on the sports staff, and many, many others dating back to former sports editor Dave Whitmer. You guys have done a tremendous job. And I think, and you may know the exact number, but I know it's over $300,000 you guys have raised.
You're right. I do not know the exact number. But it is. It's been over $300,000. Usually around $10,000 a year we're able to generate through this game and give back to the Rainbow Connection. Carmel Howder and the Rainbow Connection, they do such a fine job with, helping out the disadvantaged, underprivileged people in the Tuscarawas County. To give back to them for medical needs and whatnot. So we're really happy to be tied with them again, and their people will be over here, man in the concession stand, so make sure you get plenty of hot dogs and pop out there while you're at the game.
We in the media will be getting plenty of that.
You got that right.
Now, tell us a little bit about that, and we'll get into the exact players on both teams coming up, but how does the selection process take place in terms of who will be playing for the West, who will be suiting up for the East?
Well, what we do is at the end of the season, all the dust settles, and at the beginning of the new year, we usually send out our questionnaires or nomination forms to all our area coaches. We ask them to send us a nomination of your best players or who you'd like to see in our game. Doesn't have to. It can be 1 or 10 or whatever. I mean, how many they want to nominate. They send us back the nominations. We take them to our various 2 head coaches. This year would be Zach Gardner, Dan Ift. They take the nominees. They kind of sift through who would be good for them and who would play well in their system and whatever. And then we send the kids out. Nomination, confirmation that will you play in our football game, and we usually get a pretty good response by kids who really want to play, and the kids who don't want to play, well, that's the way it goes. But then they send their confirmation back to us. We send them out a letter saying, hey, this is when the practices will be. You need to be here at a certain time, and we kind of fill them in on what and the fours and whatnots of what the game's all about. And then they show up for practice, and then we play our game on the Friday night the 24th.
July 24th, you'll be able to watch it right here on TV2 Sports Talk with the action Scott Robinson bringing it your way. And as we wrap up the opening segment of the show, Raj, while we are here in beautiful Dover, Tuscarawas County, you guys have got folks on the roster from Coshocton County, along with sometimes I know Carroll County, the guys from Carrollton and Malvern coming down, Harrison County. So it's not just a T-County game.
No, it's not. And like you said, the Carrollton, we've got some kids from Carrollton. They had a pretty decent season. Malvern, Harrison Central, and on the west side you're looking at Coshocton, Newcomerstown, Ridgewood, you know, all those powerhouses down there. So you're right, it's just not just Tuscarawas County schools. We encompass our whole Times Reporter coverage area, and we're, like I said, we're looking really forward to having a great game on the 24th.
Coming up, as this week's TV2 Sports Talk continues, we'll be joined by Jim Haynes as Jim and Roger sort of break down the strengths of the East, the strengths of the West, and more about the Times Reporter annual High School Charities All-Star Football game being played this year right here at Crater Stadium in Dover when TV2 Sports Talk continues.
We're always looking for better ways to do things. But with some banks, better for them isn't always better for you.
You've reached Megabank. Press 1 to hear your current balance. Press 2 to hear these options again.
Introducing free Kasasa checking. When you do stuff for us, like swipe your debit card or get e-statements, we make it even better for you with cash back and refunds on ATM fees. Kasasa, carried locally at First Federal Community Bank. Do you Kasasa?
My name is Danielle. I'm a 2000 graduate from Buckeye Career Center Health Occupation Program, which helped me get my job here at Union Hospital on the pediatric floor as a registered nurse.
We are Buckeye Career Center graduates.
Buckeye Career Center helped my family get the training and education they needed to start our careers.
We're Buckeye Career Center graduates.
I'm Rod. Upon graduation of Buckeye Career Center, they helped me find a job.
Adults who return to Buckeye Career Center to continue their education usually have one goal in mind. They want the opportunity for a better job. The fact is, adult education programs at Buckeye Career Center are less expensive and provide greater opportunities for job placement following graduation. It's your future. Get the facts. Buckeye Career Center. We put people to work. Find out more about your future at buckeyecareercenter.org.
You can create a lasting legacy with a gift to the Tuscarawas County Community Foundation. It provides a safe, trustworthy, philanthropic choice for your estate planning needs. Through the generosity of area residents, the foundation has been able to provide nearly $5 million in funding for a variety of community projects and student scholarships that have positively impacted each corner of our county. Help your community by making a tax-deductible donation to the Tuscarawas County Community Foundation today.
You're watching TV2 Sports Talk on DMG Channel 2 from Time Warner Cable. This a part of our two-part series previewing the Times Reporter High School All-Star Football game. Coming up the week of the game, we'll be talking with the coaches and the players that make it happen. This week we're talking with certainly a couple of the guys behind the scenes who make it all happen at the Times Reporter. Roger Metzger to my left and Jim Haynes to my right. Jim, as we start to talk about both these teams, the West and the East, and Raj telling us the West Stars coached by Dan If, the East All-Stars by Zach Gardner from Sandy Valley. I guess give us a mini preview of the West team, what you can expect to see out of them for the fans who come out on that Friday night.
Okay, well, the West team obviously is going to consist of players from Dover, Garraway, Ridgewood, you know, places like that. So a lot of those schools on the West squad like to throw the football. So I think from the West you're going to see a pretty wide open passing game. You know, obviously it's a charity game. It's for fun, for charity. So it'll be interesting to see, you know, what type of score we have this year. But definitely you can see a lot of throwing from the West.
Roger, we talk about the East team, one name, and there's a lot of names. You hate to start singling out players because they're all fantastic. Otherwise, they wouldn't be playing in this game. But talk about Jake Davis and the numbers he put up at Indian Valley over the last 4 years. Unbelievable.
When you talk about, Jim was talking about the West, how they're going to throw the football, I get a feeling the East is going to run the football. because they've got the personnel to do that. And not saying that they're not going to be able to throw the football, but primarily you're going to see a lot of Jake Davis, that's for sure. Because like you said, he's had a great career at Indian Valley, and you've got, like I said, Central Catholic players who have had a great couple of seasons, and under Coach Cummings, Cade Cummings is going to be involved in the game. So we're really looking forward to it. It's going to be an interesting dynamic because you got, like I said, the West is going to throw the football. The East is going to run the football, and we'll see which side prevails in that matchup.
Roger, you've been involved with this game for a long time, and although both teams of the West and the East have had periods where they've won quite a few in a row or several in a row and maybe just dropped one, overall, it's been a pretty close series over the years.
It has. It's been very competitive. It's pretty close. I mean, the West holds a little bit of an edge, but the East has had their moments. The West has had their moments, and I mean that shows the balance we have in our area. I mean, but not all schools on the one side are dominant every year. You got the West, then you got the East, and both sides have shown that they can really do some damage in this game. So it hasn't been just one side or the other every time. You go into a game thinking, well, the West is going to win every year. That's not always the case. So, and of course, these kids have a lot to do with that. That's for sure.
Roger Metzger, sports editor, the Times reporter. Each year they sponsor this game in conjunction with the Rainbow Connection here in Tuscarawas County, raising monies for charities. And as we were talking with Roger about during the first part of the show, the Times reporter has raised over $300,000 in the years they've put this game on. And Jim, when we talk about, you mentioned several different schools involved, really on both sides of the football, but really they've got a compact amount of time to put it all together. And one of the things we hear the coaches that tell you guys and tell us at the radio station year after year, one of the trickiest things for them to do is everybody's lingo is a little bit different. The play might be exactly the same, but what Dan If calls it as Dover is not necessarily what Jason Wallach calls it at Garraway.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what makes this game so interesting. They basically have a week and a half, players from all different teams coming together to, put on a performance, and that's what's cool about what Roger and I get to do during that week and a half is we get to go to the camps each night. We get to see these teams gel in that short amount of time, and it says a lot to the coaching staffs on each side, and it says a lot to the kids that they're willing to come out, put aside their egos and put aside everything else that maybe some rivalries, and just go out and have fun and gel, and really they take the game seriously. The first couple of days of practice, kind of learning and fun, but then Monday of the week of the game, that practice is pretty intense, and then it gets more intense as the week goes on. So that's what makes this game a lot of fun, is the diversity of the teams and the ability of the coaching staffs to make that gel for a performance on Friday night.
And Jim, I guess one of the crazy things is for a lot of these guys, as good as they were in high school here in Tuscarawas County and Carroll County and Harrison County and Coshocton County, for quite a few of these guys, Friday night, July 24th, will be the last time they ever play the game in this form.
Right, and I think that's why they put so much passion into it. Some kids will go on and play collegiately. Most kids, are going to go on with different careers, different path of life. So it's really special for these kids, and that's why we enjoy putting it on. Not only does it benefit the Rainbow Connection, but it gives these kids an opportunity to strap them up one more time on Friday night under the lights.
Jim Haynes from the Times Reporter, along with Roger Metzger from the TR, as we talk about the TR Charities All-Star Football Game. And Roger, as we talk with Jim about the fact that an opportunity for these kids, a lot of them, to play one final game. One of the other things, and Jim sort of touched on this, a lot of these guys that are playing in the same teams were attempting in the regular season to knock each other's heads off. So for them to become teammates instead of rivals, certainly a unique opportunity that the TR game provides.
That's certainly true. But you still got the dynamics of Dover, Philly. They're on the opposite sides. So that's going to be. But you're right. I mean, yeah, you've got. It's going to be interesting with the West. Garraway in the past few years has implemented Dan If's offense, so to speak, out at Garraway, and they've got the same kind of skill players that Dover has, so they're going to try to implement them in the system. So that's going to be really neat to think. And well, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Brandon Myers from Dover. He's the young man who has kidney problems. He's been selected to play in our game. He's not going to be able to play, but Coach Ift has stressed that he wants him to be part of the whole experience. And it's going to be quite a moment whenever he comes out here at Crater Stadium for his last time, because I'm sure he really wanted to play in this game. I know he wanted this. That's the reason why he found out about this ailment he has. He had to get a physical for our game, and that's when he found out that he had this severe kidney problem. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. That'll be really neat to see, and that's going to be really neat.
It is all a part of the Times Reporter Charities All-Star Football Game to benefit the Rainbow Connection. You'll be able to see it here on TV2. Of course, listen to live play-by-play on 1450 WJER. Coming up as this week's edition of TV2 Sports Talk continues, we'll talk more with Jim and Roger about the 2015 contest on Sports Talk.
At Bear Carpet One, we're more interested in hearing about your needs than talking about our achievements. Here you will find the best selection of floor covering in the region. Currently we are featuring Lee's Carpet. They have been producing carpet since 1846 and still offer the same quality that has made them famous. Visit our storefront located in Sugar Creek next to McDonald's for our store-wide sale from September 5th through September 13th with special financing. Bear Carpet One, where beautiful is made affordable.
This episode of Sports Talk is brought to you by J. Dempson and Son Concrete. After this rough winter, you may need to repair or replace your patio, sidewalk, steps, or driveway. If you're considering any of these projects, give J. Dempson and Son Concrete a call at 330-795-0169 for a free estimate. Keep your home looking its best with J. Dempson and Son, with over 55 years of combined experience making satisfied customers.
WJER and TV2 would like to introduce you to a new website, WJERTV2.com, where you can watch exciting high school football, soccer, and volleyball replays from TV2 Sports on your home computer, smartphone, or tablet. Also watch the latest episodes of TV2's original programming, Sports Talk, The Garden Girl, The Not So Shy Chef, Off the Record, and Medical Minutes, as well as catch up on local community news and search for local businesses. So make sure to check out the new WJERTV2.com community website, where everything's local.
From Crater Stadium, the home of the 2015 Times Reporter Charities All-Star Football Game, I'm Bill Morgan, WJER Radio Sports Director, talking about this year's game with Roger Metzger, the sports editor from the Times Reporter, and TR sports writer Jim Haynes. And Jim, while we've been talking football, it is the football All-Star Game. We've got all-star cheerleaders on both sides of the field.
Yes, we do. We can't forget about the cheerleaders. They put in a lot of work too during the season. So we pretty much go through the same selection process as we do for the football players. We send out nomination forms to the cheer advisors from the respective schools. They in turn report, and that's how we select those. But they're also going to be practicing just like the boys will for football. Courtney Reese, a big thank you to her. She's headed it up, although she'll be at cheer camp for the game. She's got Jill Coyne and Carrie Smith who are helping her out on game night, and they'll also be involved during the practices as well. So we got to give a shout out to the cheerleaders for sure.
All-star cheerleaders, to be sure. And Roger, we talk about this game as a whole, and you and I have talked about this over the years. Hank Keithley and I, you and I. They're really, over the course of the years, when you used to look back statewide, there were a ton of these games. And there still are some high school all-star football games, but not as many. We don't know why those aren't played, but why do you think you guys have continued to have the success with your game here in T County?
Well, first of all, I think people in this area just love football. I mean, first and foremost, I mean, they can't wait. It's kind of, our game is kind of like the unofficial beginning of the next season. It's looking back on what, was with 2015 with our players, but it's kind of a unofficial beginning of the new season. Kids come out and they run the sidelines and they have a good time and everything, and it's just one of those things where I think our people in our area just love football, and they just can't live without it.
Roger, victory and the cheerleaders and the national anthem this year. You guys doing a little bit something different with that as well.
More for our Dover flavor going on. We've got Katie Schweitzer, a recent graduate of Dover High School, great vocalist, and we just thought that since it was at Dover and since the game was here, we just thought it would be natural to have one of their own do the national anthem, and she's a great singer, and we're really looking forward to having her belt one out here on the 24th, that's for sure.
The Times Reporter High School All-Star Football game every year, the final Friday in July. This year certainly no different. Friday night, July 24th. Kickoff time set for 7 o'clock. And Jim, if folks want to get tickets in advance with the proceeds going to the Rainbow Connection, they can, of course, stop at the TR, but you guys have other locations people can stop at as well.
Right, we do have various locations. I know we have Twin City Pharmacy down in Denison. Of course, like you mentioned, the TR. A new outlet this year is Park Street Pizza out in Sugar Creek.
Now, wait a second. Is there some kind of pizza exchange going on between Rocky and you, with you being Garraway guy?
No, not at all. No pizza has been exchanged. So
not yet. What he's saying is not yet.
Right. But check out the TR. It lists all the locations. I can't remember all of them off the top of my head, but and of course, you know, you'll be having giveaways on your radio show there, Mr. Morgan. So we look forward to that. But they're $6 in advance, $8 the day of the game at the gate. So if you want to save a couple bucks, get them early, come out. We're hoping for good weather.
It is certainly a key part to what happens each and every year as a part of the Times Reporter High School All-Star Football game. Raj, I guess without asking you to say, hey, a specific year or a specific player, is there an era of this game that you tend to remember more than others? Maybe when they put a ton of points on the board, maybe when there was actually a defensive struggle, going back in the times you spent at the TR.
Well, like you said, there's been games where we've had shootouts, and then there have been other games where there have been defensive struggles. But I think you just got to go back a few years ago where Felipe Bravo kicked the game-winning field goal. I mean, to win it for the West, he did that in the Dover-Philly game, and then during the summer he did it again. So, I mean, that was one of the ones I remember the most. So, but they're all the games are interesting and unique, and that's what makes this game really fun.
And I don't know how many years ago it was. It hasn't been 5, but it also hasn't been 1. But Tyler Walder from Garraway, when he was quarterbacking, he had a tremendous game that year.
Yeah, I mean, the kid was just on fire, and like you said, Garraway is one of those up-and-coming teams. They've had success over the years, and I think he has our new passing record for our All-Star football game, and who knows, it could break could fall again this year. You never know with the likes of the Dover people and the Garraway people. So we'll see what happens.
I have to wait and see how all that plays out. And, of course, before you know it, the high school football season as a whole will kick off. And, Jim, while it seems to be strange to say that in the middle of July, you're going to blink your eyes. The TR game's going to be here. You blink your eyes 2 more times, you and Raj and your cast of thousands, or at least 5 or 6 over there, are going to be writing the great preview you guys write for football. Then the season's going to be here.
Yeah, and it's hard to believe. You know, this will be my 3rd season here upcoming that I've been a part of football with the TR. I always look forward to it. My favorite time of the year. It's definitely getting into our busy time now at the newspaper, and me and Roger are going to try to bring Tuscarawas Valley the best sports coverage we can.
And Raj, when Jim talks about the best sports coverage, certainly one of the ways this has changed since you and I have been involved in it, me on the broadcast end, you on the print end, there's different ways to get that information out there. You guys, of course, have the paper, and I'm still an old guy. I want to pick up the paper. The paper. I mean, online is great, but I like to have the paper in my hands. But
I was going to say, see how many people try to cut out something from the internet. You can't do that to put on a on a poster board. You can't cut out anything on the internet. You have to have print to do that.
Correct. However, there are people that they love TimesReporter.com, and of course you and Jim and the rest of the sports staff, whether it's guys who are stringing or guys who are filling in, you guys are out there certainly on Twitter a lot getting all the information out.
Yeah, Twitter's become a big thing, Facebook, and FridayNightOhio.com. That has been a big thing for us over the last few years. Our sister paper, The Repository up in Canton, and then the Massillon Independent. We're all one big happy family, and we try to get as much football information out there as possible in cyberspace.
It is all a part of the best coverage of high school sports, and you're getting sort of watch that trio of entities. The Times Reporter with the annual Charities Football All-Star Game coming up Friday night, July 24th. The best coverage of that game with the Times Reporter and online at timesreporter.com and FridayNightOhio.com. Of course, you can watch the game right here on TV2. Scott Robinson will bring all that action your way. The first replay coming up Friday night, July 24th at 10:30, and you can hear the game live on 1450 WJER, a 7 o'clock kickoff time. Our pregame show set to begin at about 6:30. Coming up 2 weeks from now, we'll continue to preview the game as we talk with head coach Dan Ipp from the West team and Zach Gardner from the East team and some of the players that will make it happen, all a part of the Times Reporter Charities All-Star Football Classic right here on TV2 Sports Talk.